right, some breaking news also coming in. The centre has rushed 50 high-level public health teams to Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh and Punjab for COVID-19 control and containment measures. My colleague Ruchi Bhatia is joining in with all the details. Ruchi, these three specific states have been chosen for these teams to be rushed to, I'm assuming because of their higher numbers?
Oh, absolutely right. Remember, India has reported over 1 lakh cases over the last 24 hours, and the key concern really emanating from states like Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh and Punjab, and which is exactly the reason why Centre has rushed 50 high-level public health teams to almost about 50 districts across Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh and Punjab, and this in view of the high number of cases that are being reported. The teams that are being rushed to 30 districts of Maharashtra, 11 districts of Chhattisgarh and 9 districts of Punjab. They will be assisting the state health department and the local authorities in COVID-19 surveillance, control and containment measures. We're also given to understand that the 2-member high-level team consists of clinical epidemiologists and a public health expert will be assisting and visiting these states immediately and monitoring the overall implementation of COVID-19 management, especially with regard to COVID-appropriate behavior and its enforcement as well. We're given to understand that they will be submitting daily reports on 5 key aspects, including testing, contact tracing, including surveillance and containment measures, hospital infrastructure, including ICU, ventilator, oxygen beds, enforcement of COVID-19 behavior, as well as COVID vaccination as well. This is, of course, key coming in after we have seen states such as Delhi and Maharashtra asking the centre to review the COVID vaccination criteria as well. So clearly, the concerns emanating from these states and now the central government looking at what needs to be done. We're given to understand that this is a part of the central government's efforts and umbrella strategy that they're looking at with respect to how to contain these cases.
Sure.
And also coming just ahead of Prime Minister's visit and just ahead of Prime Minister's meeting with all the states as well.
The meeting, yes. In another 3 days, that's right. The Prime Minister will be meeting the chief ministers of all the states on the 8th of April. So these teams are being rushed in. But the fact is that the battle in every state has to be fought on the ground level. And in Maharashtra, part of that battle is being fought by imposing restrictions which are going to impact certain sectors and industries more than others, because all non-essential establishments have to now shut down for a month. This includes retailers that are not grocery stores or chemists, etc. This includes restaurants, this includes malls, this includes theaters. A lot of these businesses had just about started recovering because they truly could open properly post September, October. In some categories, malls, etc. was even later, theatres was even later. So how is this going to now impact them? Riyaaz Amlani of Impresario is joining us on the show now, as is Kumar Rajagopalan, CEO of Retailers Association of India. We will be speaking with Mukesh Kumar as well of Infiniti Mall. Welcome to all of you and thank you for speaking with us. Riyaaz, I just want to start by getting your take on the restrictions which have come in. And they obviously are going to be difficult for the restaurant industry. But where do you go from here? Have you had a chance, has the industry had a chance in the last 1 year to develop an alternate model which is more sustainable with takeaways, for example?
You know, this is a very dangerous misnomer that's going around that takeaways can in any way, shape or form substitute dining in. Right? Dining in is a different business and deliveries is a different business. Dark kitchens don't have the kind of overheads that restaurants have. Restaurants are not set up for delivery. So there's no way that any restaurant which has taken any amount of space in high streets can afford to even be in business just on deliveries alone. We need the dine-in business to come in for us to be just to sustain. And with 50% COVID guidelines which were in place, it was anyway, we were just struggling to even break even and keep our heads above water. So there's just no way that a restaurant can exist. And We don't have any magic wand that can make us survive just by deliveries alone. So it does not work.
Mr. Rajagopalan, once again, the Retailers Association has asked for concessions and help from state central government. This was asked the last time around as well. I want to get a sense from you, from all the schemes which were put in place after lockdown, the first round of lockdowns. Has that been enough to see these businesses through? And is there enough firepower now to wait it out, which hopefully will be much shorter? There are some estimates in another 2-3 weeks we can start lifting restrictions again. So is there enough firepower to wait it out?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know whether it can be called firepower, because when we are being fired by our own people, where is the firepower left? I don't think the retailers were thinking that they are going to be completely shut down. I mean, very clearly the indications were that there is not going to be a lockdown. Not going to be a lockdown, creating restrictions is one thing, but telling that an entire industry is going to get locked down is a different thing. I think we are back to square one. It's deja vu in various forms, because back in March and April last year, we had the same problem. We were told that as retailers, you can't keep your stores open other than if you are an essential retail player. The same thing has happened again. So as far as the retail industry is concerned, it is a lockdown. Let's not run around telling it something else. And this industry has, only in the state of Maharashtra, more than 1.2 million stores. It has more than 5 million people working in this place. And these are all people who are below the 45 years of age. And there is no money, there is no income coming in. Now, nobody can really say that I've got the firepower. I mean, I also call it resilience. But for how long do you really push this resilience factor of retail and restaurants and malls? Second part is justification is lacking here. I think the important part to know is that we've learned something the last 1 year. We know that those places where crowding is happening, where the social distancing norms are not getting maintained, where the SOPs are not very clearly prevalent, it is going to be a problem. Now, we did not expect that we would come on that side of the knife at all, because very clearly the retail industry was following the guidelines. And last thing that you expect is roti kapda ko maro. I think I can't explain this as nicely in English as I can explain this in Hindi. I mean, you made sure that people can't get their dinner after 8 o'clock. They can't get it delivered. You've made sure that you can't get your garments at all. You're saying go for attending weddings, but I won't give you garments. You're saying open up building construction sites, but you can't be getting any hardware from the stores. These stores have a particular role to play in the society. Now, this is the ultimate point where everything starts. Now, if you shut that down, what is manufacturing for? You're not selling anything from the front end. So if you are cooking at home and if you want a particular utensil, sorry, those stores are not open again for you. So I think we've come into this quandrum where we don't know how to get out of. We were not prepared for this. I'd be very upfront about this. We were prepared for partial lockdown and things could have been taken care of. We are once more landing into a situation wherein these 5 million employees are going to be thinking.
Truly surprised? Are you truly surprised seeing the jump in numbers? No, I just want to ask, and let me come to Mr. Mukesh on this, and then I will go round with everyone. Mr. Mukesh Kumar, I remember us speaking last when the random antigen test was being imposed in malls, and you were still optimistic that people will come in. I don't know what your footfalls were after that, but as the numbers continued to rise. Now, when we hit 11,000 plus in Bombay, we are hitting 57,000 in Maharashtra, 100,000 in India. Were you surprised that malls, for one, would be asked to shut down and not be treated as essential, stores in the state?
I think we're very, very surprised. We never saw this coming at all. Because the way the malls are maintaining all the protocols in terms of social distancing, wearing a mask, keeping the crowd under control, we are really surprised that this happened to the mall, or for that matter, for the restaurant or the multiplexes. Because I think these three categories that so well controlled and so well monitored, then nothing can go wrong there. Any protocol that was designed by the Ministry of Health Affairs and the Home Affairs, we followed all the guidelines to the T. We did not make mistake anywhere, did not compromise anywhere. I don't know why it is a myth that malls are overcrowded or the restaurants are overcrowded. It's a complete myth that needs to be busted. I think we're making a mistake as an industry. We're not able to reach out to the government and tell them that we are not crowded. Because if you look at our protocol, what we have currently is 75 square feet per person. Will tell me one industry which has this kind of norm. Look at the railway stations, look at the airports, all the aircraft. Nobody has more than 20, 25 square feet. That's also larger spaces. We are maintaining this. We reduce the number of covers in the restaurant. We reduce the number of seating in the food court. Everything we have done. Why everything has to shut down? I mean, this completely defies the logic. Everything we had to do, we have already done. So, some order like this comes, what are we doing? We are trying to run down the business, shut down the businesses, and look at number of people getting jobless because of this. Literally, the businesses can't afford to pay salaries today if they're not working. There's no revenue. It took us 6 to 7 months to come back to some numbers. Retailers have to somehow able to stand on their feet, and suddenly they have been told, you can't run your business anymore. You have to shut down. Tell me, how do you expect the restaurant to just work on deliveries? Is that really possible? Is that the model what they're working on? No, they are not. Do you think the mall can survive just by opening a F&B store on
Let me come back to Riyaaz on this. What is the way out now? And, the caveat with this is that hopefully this will not last very long. So far, it's restricted to only one state. And the idea is that as vaccinations ramp up, these restrictions will be lifted also sooner. It won't last for 2-3 months or even longer at a stretch like it did last year. Does that give you some solace?
No, not at all, actually, because, last time we went into lockdown, we were told 3 weeks, and it lasted at least 6 months. So, this is not the answer. And the fact of the matter is that it's taken us a really long time. We spent a lot of time, a lot of money that we didn't have to actually create SOPs to build customer confidence, come back into our stores, whether it's retail or whether it's restaurant. The organized businesses have really gone the extra mile to give customers confidence, to make sure people come out and have a safe experience. Because at the end of the day, people do need to go out. It's important for their mental health just to be able to step out of their homes, right? So we've done so much hard work, and it's just come down and just locked us down willy-nilly without putting any thought into what is going to mean for these businesses. I mean, there are going to be millions of people who are going to be unemployed overnight, right? Okay, look, if you feel, in your infinite wisdom, you feel that a lockdown is absolutely necessary and it needs to happen for a while, so be it. But in the meantime, what are you doing to support the industry? Are you providing salaries that all governments all over the world, even poorer countries, have done? Are you providing any kind of salary support to the people who are going to be unemployed? Or are you completely oblivious to the crisis that this just wave of a hand lockdown that has been created? What are you going to do to support it? Are you waiving off the license fees? You've actually forced restaurants on 31st March to pay onerous amounts of license fees, and then the next day you come and shut them down. You actually threaten restaurants to say that, hey, listen, if you do not pay your license fees by 31st of March, you will not be allowed to operate the next day. They put the gun on our head, and 3 days later, it's a complete lockdown. If they knew they were heading for a lockdown, why did they take these expensive license fees from us? Why are they not giving us TDS waivers? Why are they not giving us tax holidays? What are they doing to help us? Why are they not vaccinating people in the front lines, people who are in the restaurant industry, people who are in the retail industry, people who are in the delivery business? They're frontline workers. And you come up with a guideline that says, you have to have a RT-PCR test and a vaccination for people who are doing delivery, but below 45 is not allowed a vaccination. So where is the logic? Just no thought. And this is what's really irritating, that just no thought for the industry, but for the millions of people who are employed in this industry. So if the lockdown is absolutely necessary, the government needs to now stand behind this lockdown and provide the relief that the industry needs.
Yeah, that's a valid point, Riyaaz. And Mr. Rajagopalan, I want to get your view on this. Is it, you feel, haphazard? Last time was the whole country had 4-hour notice. Everyone was in shock before they figured out what was happening. But do you think that this is also quite haphazard even now? That there could have been, of course, you on your end are asking for concessions, etc. But there could be a way to ensure that businesses have some window of running. Last time around, when restrictions were beginning to ease, there were alternate days, etc. All of those things put in place.
Yeah, I think the reason why we are shocked and we are telling the way we are, all of us, and you've been aware of this, we've spoken with each other for long now. The fact is that last year, none of us knew what's happening. It was all very new for all of us. We had to do a lockdown. We had to ramp up the medical services. We had to do a whole lot as a country. Subsequently, by the month of July, August, September, I think we got our act together in some form. We saw a whole lot of knee-jerk reactions before that by individual states, by individual municipalities, and we got all of them together. We got collective wisdom into the picture. The Ministry of Home Affairs came into the picture. Everybody got onto a coordinated effort to this, and this got into a control situation. We had thought that things have got solved. Yes, the people must have flouted norms. We've gone back into an issue where the number of cases are more. All of us have to acknowledge that fact. But having said that, because of this cumulated intelligence that we've got over the last 12 months, we expect that you start hitting the places where the problems are rather than hitting the places which are the easiest. And the worry for us has been that we are sitting ducks. We've just been shot because we were there and we are the most visible. Are the shops responsible for the amount of COVID cases that's happening? Are we saying that this is the only sector that should be given a total lockdown? Because believe me, this is total lockdown for this industry. This industry has got 5 million people. And it's not just this industry. We have a contagion effect on the economy. Everybody from manufacturing to impacted.
Yes.
So why going back to that state? Second
Absolutely. You made that point. You made that point that, you know, it'll hit demand, it'll hit manufacturing as well. Yes.
The second part is...
Absolutely. It will have a ripple effect. Unfortunately, I would say is... Yes, I've actually run out of time, Mr. Rajagopalan. So if you want to finish that second point very quickly in one line, then please go ahead and do that.
Shops, we were not given any financial supports. In fact, we were promised as retailers that we could be enlisting ourselves as part of MSME. Currently, retailers, even small retailers, can't even enlist themselves as MSMEs. So frankly, we've not got anything from a fiscal perspective all through the year. So it's quite shocking, but we know we are resilient. The customers take care of us. But now there are no customers.
Yes. Yes. No. So hopefully this situation will ease quickly. Hopefully, and remember right now it's restricted only to one state. So we have to look at it from that perspective. We also have to ask ourselves why a year later we're having exactly the same conversation about lives versus livelihood. Have we not been able to find a middle ground even a year later? We'll take a very short break at this point, and of course I want to thank our panelists who have come on board and spoken frankly about what they face as business owners in the face of more restrictions and a rising second wave. The rising second wave spooked investors in the markets today as well, with the Sensex plunging over 800 points, the Nifty settling over about 200 points lower. After the break, you listen into what Chris Woods has to say about India's second wave.